Welcome to the Carmichaels Area School Board regular meeting of September 10th. I just want to introduce our Mike's Nation Live crew. We have Miss Abby Ray and we have Miss Marilyn Peruzzi. So thank you both for taking time out here, day and evening, to come here and help us out for our broadcast. And as always, Miss Jessica Hathaway as well, running the program. Mr. Benner, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out this evening. The Carmichaels Area School Board rescheduled meeting of September 19th to September 10th is now in session. Please rise for a moment of silence that will be followed by the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The executive session was held on September 9th, 2024 from 7 to 8:15 p.m. for personnel matters. An executive session was held this evening from 6:37 to 7 p.m. for personnel and legal matters. Roll call, please.
Mr. Buckton?
Here.
Dr. Kraus?
Here.
Mrs. Kroll? Here. Mr. May?
Here.
Mr. Menhart?
Here.
Mr. Pratt?
Here.
Mrs. Shoup? Here. Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Sokol?
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you. Approval of minutes of rescheduled board meeting held August 8th, 2024. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Any unfinished business? Additions to the agenda, approval of the agenda.
We're going to table A11 for tonight.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Do we need a motion there to table it, or just we don't?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, motion to approve the agenda as presented with that
So moved.
completion. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Remarks from visitors. Please step to the podium and state your name, and you have 3 minutes now.
Okay, I am Sally Liptak. I am the mother of Quentin Stewart here. He goes to Green Valley Elementary. I signed him up for preschool here, even though he made the list those slots were all taken. On the website, it says that the bus stop stops at Claire's daycare. Also, I got a copy from the elementary school that it stops at Claire's daycare. There's an issue that they will not stop at Claire's daycare to pick them up. I need to know why. When it's posted on the website and at the elementary school, they refuse to pick them up at the daycare. So they want the daycare lady to go down the hill to the previous bus stop with my kids and any other daycare children to drop them off and pick them up every day. Even though it's posted, they refuse to pick them up. I need a more he said, she said answer is what I've been getting since school started.
I don't have an answer for you right now. All I can tell you is we'll look into this and I'll get back to you.
I've been being told that since day one.
Okay, we don't
Okay.
have,
What do I have to do to get, like, come to the next board meeting? Like, what's my next step? Like, if it's posted and they won't pick them up.
Before the next board meeting.
Oh, yeah, I'll have an answer for you
We
tomorrow.
just finding out about it. We'll
Oh, okay.
we'll get,
I've never been to this. Does somebody
Sure.
contact me or do I come to the
Yeah,
next
if
one?
you
or-
leave your contact information with Officer Miller, I think is back there somewhere.
The one in the hallway?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll personally call you tomorrow.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you. Would you like a copy of your posted bus?
Leave it with Mr. Thompson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other remarks from visitors? I'd like to say, before we move on, that we're in a policy, and I just spoke with our solicitor, we're in a policy, in the process of establishing a policy where if you do come here and speak, it has always been a practice of the board not to engage, as I just did. But going forward, we're going to come up with a policy where we will give you answers, and if we don't have the answers, I'll call you personally the next day with an answer. You might not like the answer, but I'll call you with an answer, okay? And Mr. Mays said he'll come up with a policy. This should be policy, and it takes two meetings to pass a policy. But we're still going to do this for this lady, all right?
Sure.
Okay. Any other remarks from visitors? Okay, student representatives. There's the volleyball. Good choice. Okay, before we start tonight's meeting, or before we go forward, I'd like to make a few brief remarks. I'm aware that there's been a lot of concern and uncertainty in the community about the state of our school district in the past several months. We collectively, as a board, want to work towards being more transparent with you as we progress. As a new board, we were immediately met with many challenges. The events that occurred were unforeseen and had to be dealt with immediately. Due to legal reasons, we've been largely unable to talk openly about this topic since its inception. I would now like to read to you a public statement that has been drafted by our superintendent and solicitor regarding this matter. Carmichaels Area School District Joint Statement of Board of Education and Mrs. Holloway. Carmichaels Area School District and Mrs. Chelsea Holloway have agreed to amicably end their employment relationship. Their agreement will allow Mrs. Holloway to explore new opportunities and continue her career, and permits the Carmichaels Board to select a new business manager. The board also wants to assure to residents that the district's finances are in good order and all funds are accounted for. As always, the board remains committed to sound financial management and will continue to take proactive measures to ensure the ongoing stability and integrity of its fiscal operations. As a result of this situation, temporary arrangements have been made to manage district finances, and a committee was formed to find a new business manager. After a tireless search, the committee has identified a candidate that will be recommended to be hired in the near future. In our October or November meeting, I will give a more substantial report concerning the state of district finances. I'm waiting for a final financial report from our auditor to confirm the status of spending during the 23-24 school year. Another dilemma occurred just weeks before the start of school, as we were faced with the task of replacing our elementary principal. We have found a strong replacement in Mrs. Marissa Sacco, who has hit the ground running. And Mrs. Sacco, I'd like to introduce you now publicly, Mrs. Marissa Sacco.
Thank you.
The last topic that I will address this evening is the Helping House. Due to the lack of grant funding, our Helping House was temporarily suspended. Thankfully, due to the hard work of our community, board members, and teachers, the program will continue. A special thanks goes to CSAD teacher Mrs. Tracy Dovish, Mr. Dan Smith, board member, and the Scott Kiger Family Foundation. These people were the most instrumental in ensuring the continuation of the program. Thanks must also go out to the township supervisors for providing the Crucible Fire Hall as the new home of the Helping House. As a school board, we want to let the community know that we hear and care about your concerns. Going forward, we will all work towards doing what's best for all of our students while maintaining the financial integrity of our district. That concludes my little report, and I would like to speak on behalf of our new board. I've been here for too long, and many of these, 6 or 7 of these people are in the educational environment for the first time, and they've faced things already that I haven't faced in the past 43 years. So we've had some lively discussions in this room, and we still walk away friends, and these people are doing everything they can do to right the ship. So that concludes my report.
Good job.
Okay, administrative reports. Superintendent Warcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Menard. Pleased to provide you with a report highlighting our successful start of the 24-25 school year. We kicked off the school year with a smooth opening across all grade levels. Staff and students are well prepared. We have experienced great energy in classrooms, in the hallways, and our school community at large. Educational programming and focus on experiences. As part of our commitment to providing enriching hands-on learning experiences, we're continuing with education programs that emphasize providing experiences with learning. Students are already engaging with projects and activities designed to connect classroom instruction with real-world applications, particularly in STEM, social studies, math, and science. Early feedback from teachers and students has been overwhelmingly positive. The fall sports season is underway. Our student athletes have hit the ground running. Our first home cross-country meet was held earlier this month as a scrimmage, and our first event was held today. So it was really neat to see out there. I think we had 3 different teams running the course. It was just great that we had fans, and the support of the kids with each other is just, it's amazing. It's a really nice sport to complement the fall sports that we already have. So, like I said, there was great participation, and naturally, they emphasized the course record whenever we ran it the first time. So, and I actually saw Brody Shipfire today, and he increased on his time by a minute, almost 2 minutes from his last run. So it's really cool to see them out there. Other fall sports, including football, softball, and volleyball, are also competing with enthusiasm and representing our district with pride, and our band has also been participating in a variety of parades and performances. We had a district-wide open house in late August, which was well attended by families with community services and a ton of community members being there. It provided a wonderful opportunity for parents to meet their children's teachers, tour classrooms, and learn more about the programs and opportunities available this year. The positive feedback from our families was very encouraging, and we look forward to continuing to build strong connections with our community. Overall, September has been a great start. I look forward to the continued success of our students, our staff, and our programs as the year progresses. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Warcraft. Before we proceed, I'd like to thank Mr. Buckton and Mr. Pratt for all the work they put into, and Mr. Sokol, I'm sorry. For all the work they put into that, the trail through the woods, it's awesome.
They did a great job.
So, I stepped up and did a great job. Elementary principals report, Mrs. Sacco.
I gave you a little more in-depth report that I'm just going to touch on. For the most part, it's been a smooth back-to-school transition. As Mr. Moorcraft said, our open house was very well attended, the meet and greet. I personally would like to thank the staff, the administrative team, and the families and community for such the welcome that I received. We are moving forward with our Walk to Read transformations. I gave everybody an update. with that in terms of where we are to start the year. We will be moving forward with our wellness room as well. We had a meeting on September 4th, attended by Mrs. Hudock, Mrs. Kroll, myself, Mrs. Mitchell, and Mrs. Mancini. We are working with Wellesley Family Services to get things in place to actually see that grant come to fruition. I did not realize that the elementary staff wasn't really aware of all that was going on with that. They will be on Friday. I will be giving them an updated Friday staff meeting. In terms of the August in-service, I read all the evaluations. Many of the staff requested more trainings from Dr. Chakowski at IE1, and I'm working with her to see what we can bring in for ELA. There are two specific professional development opportunities. One, 2 of our teachers actually attended the first day today, and the other opportunity, unfortunately, was September 5th, and the teachers, as much as they wanted to attend that, they didn't want to be out of their classroom that early. So I'm working with Dr. Chakowski to see if maybe we can get her in the district at some point. We've scheduled our 3rd grade field trip. Parent council meeting, I did have a question mark there, but we are meeting on September 25th. And then just some safety and security issues that I included here that I'll be looking into, along with some maybe social and emotional learning programs that I'd like to look into for our students.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, middle school principal's report. Mr. Foley.
Thank you, Mr. Manhart. As Mr. Moorcraft from the SACO mentioned, it's been a great start to the school year. I do want to apologize to the public. We had some busing pickups with students getting on the right buses. That's completely my fault. We have that ironed out now, and I think that's going forward. So I do apologize to the public for that. Some of the things going on in the middle school, we have our egg drop this Friday. It's Fieldhouse. October 25th is the pumpkin drop. Those are always well-received events from the middle school students, 7th graders. So if you guys want to come out during the day, I do believe it's from 1 to 3. The kids work hard on designing apparatuses to make sure that those items don't break. One thing I did kind of want to go over with you guys that we implemented this year with the help of Mr. Becky. When she does the schedule, I kind of get a mixed bag of teachers, and I was very, very fortunate to get Mr. Kevin Willis as one of our middle school teachers for electives this year. And Kevin, if you guys know Kevin, he's one of the good ones. He's got a lot of energy. He's opened up the greenhouse again. The kids are in there. I provided you guys with some pictures of what they're doing. They're planting stuff around the school. It's been a great start to the year for him so far, so I am appreciative of that. And also in the 6th grade, if you'll go through your packet, the Field of Flags project is for the Disabled American Veterans Organization. Mr. Gillis in the 6th grade class is going to team up with them to try to get some fundraising, be able to give to them. It's a field of flags that, you guys will buy a flag and we'll put them in the field here at the school, and that money will go to that organization. With that being said, all my diagnostics is in there as far as enrollment, discipline, walkthroughs, and things that are going on in the middle school. And with that being said, that's really my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Foley. Mrs. Trevecki, high school principal.
Thank you, Mr. Manhart. My first page is just giving you a quick overview. As Mr. Moorcraft said, it was a great opening to the school year. We certainly hit the ground running in the high school. My second page of the report talks about what we've been doing, senior meetings. I've focused a lot on seniors. I've been in their classrooms. I've been in their AP classes talking about testing. I've been meeting individually to make sure that they have their post-high school plans or ideas in order. So that's taken a lot of my high school time. My enrollment is there, my discipline is there. I'd like to spend a little bit of, or before I get to this point, I'd also like to recognize Brandon Yeckel for his wonderful play Friday night and his play of the week that was featured on WTAE, so congratulations to him. I'd like to focus a little bit of time, if you will bear with me, through some of the data I included on my report. So I have given you an overview of the Keystone exam. The reason I decided to give you a table that looks like this, the important part of this is the first-time test takers looking at the spring of 2024. So this is important because I'm not sure how familiar the board is with Keystones, but in Keystones, Algebra 1 and Biology are taken in 9th grade, and Literature is taken in 10th grade. However, if you don't get your score in 9th or 10th grade that you want, you continue to retake it. So I broke it down by first-time test takers to show you that data, and then I broke it down by grade level. So some of those numbers look similar. I also gave you some scoring ranges, so you could see the number advanced, number proficient, and I gave you 1490 and 1480 because that's a lot of our focus. Those kids will retake in the winter, which would be December, and those are the kids that should make it across the finish line. When you're looking at the Keystone data, if you flip to the next table, part of that data goes into the PDE graduation requirement, the Act 158. That, if you look, is pathway 1 and 2, so all 3 Keystones you passed, or you have a composite score that's 1452, okay? So when you look at that score is what the majority of our kids, so the class of 2023 and the class of 2024 have accomplished. However, not all our kids have, and if you look, the CTC concentrator, the alternate assessment, and evidence-based pathways are clearly defined on the last page of my packet, where we do have some kids working through there. The CTC concentrator, our kids that go to the CTC are getting industry-based certifications such as OSHA. They are being tested in the NOCTI area. The alternative assessment, which is that middle column, a lot of our kids would fall on the bottom there where it says acceptance into accredited nonprofit higher education, a 4-year program. The final column would be the where you need 1 from here and 2 from there. And, you know, depending on the kids' future plans would depend on where they would land there. But I wanted to show you that data because we not only report that data to the state, but I think it's important when you hear us talking about graduation and graduation pathways, that this is also an added layer to that, that the kids have to accomplish. And I'm very confident that our current senior class will find their pathway through this also. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Rebecca. Any questions? Mr. Townsend, Technology.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Menard. The ESSER-funded Chromebooks, they were delivered last week. That's great news, 408 devices to be issued to the students. Bad news is we're missing one of the 3 pallets that were delivered. So we're missing about 136 units. FedEx Freight, the carrier, is aware of that. The vendor is aware of that. We have no ETA yet on delivery. However, I was told just recently that they have 10 days, the carrier, to find the devices or issue us a refund for the units in which we'll then replace. No ETA again on when they'll arrive. Currently, myself and my assistant, Mr. Colton Belmar, we're unboxing, provisioning, labeling, casing, and we're going to distribute the first 100 units hopefully by the end of the week. I have in here, that's about a $4,900 cost savings. What that means is a lot of the vendors sell what's called a white glove service, where you would purchase this fee, they'll do the unboxing, they'll do the provisioning, they'll do the casing, and they'll ship them to you 5 or 10 in a box. We do that one-on-one with the devices as a cost savings to the district, and it allows us to hopefully move them out faster to the students. My game plan is 8th grade. We'll get theirs swapped out the following week, and my plan is to have the entire middle senior high school swapped out by Thanksgiving break. What we'll then do is recycle those devices as we talked about in the work session, and I'm going to use them to hopefully boost the elementary fleet's status, and we can get those machines as operational as possible for state testing like the Keystones. Moving on, network infrastructure. I don't know if everyone saw the news yesterday, but I think it was Central Catholic had a network outage that caused them to close school. I'm not saying that can't happen here. However, I would like to put the board's mind at ease. We upgraded our network infrastructure last summer. It's been robust, it's been strong, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. So I hopefully rest at ease and knock on wood. Our internet fiber contract service is quickly approaching. We signed a 3-year contract with Breeze Line, they're formerly Atlantic Broadband, and we have the option to extend that contract an additional 2 years. Currently, we're at a 1 gigabit connection. When we redid the network, we're ready for a 10 gigabit connection. We're ready for more speed. Also, Kinetic, formerly Windstream, their fiber service is up and running in this area as well, and we'll explore all avenues as far as who can get us the better price on that service. It's an E-ratable service, so that means we get a Category 1 funding. It's 90% reimbursement to the district, so whatever we pay for that service, we get 90% of that back. I'd like to also thank our consultant, Kristen Vanstream. She works formerly with the IU, now as an independent consultant. She gets us the best deals, and she's well worth her support. If there's no questions, that concludes my report.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Maintenance Supervisor report, Mr. Franks.
Thank you, Mr. President.
This year's off to a busy but gratifying start. We've rectified a couple of old problems that have been hounding us for some years. We've got had to reset a circuit breaker every morning for a year, and finally found the component that was causing the problem, and I smashed it. But it was a nuisance thing, and it's solved. We're also working on running a couple new exhaust fan circuits that were left over from legacy from the renovation, something that was existing to remain that they took the power away from, hoping the ventilation improvements will improve the conditions of the building. The air conditioning change out for room J301 in the middle school is completed. We've just recently, right before the first football game, we had to replace 2 LED segments on the football scoreboard, and it was reported to me that it's working fine. It's very old, but we can keep it going. We replaced the compressor in the cooler at the field house. Minor things repaired, treadmill, all of them are now working in the weight room. The vehicles are on the municipal bid. They're staggered a day apart on a 10-day auction, so that when the purchases are made, I only deal with one vehicle at a time. I have no idea what I'll be doing that day, so make it easy on me. The new waste hauler, which is Morgantown Waste, we were having some difficulty with the smaller containers they brought us. I communicated with them, and they were very good about it. They brought us a couple yard larger containers and stated that there's no additional charge for the service. It remains the same. We have some upcoming tests. The fire alarm panel test is scheduled for 9/12. It should not interrupt school at all. We will do a all-out alarm test at the end of the day after dismissal. Boiler pressure vessel inspections, that's all our big boilers, water tanks. That is coming on 9/17. We're dealing with things as they happen, and we have a whole list of things we'd like to get to, but like I said, we're taking care of the immediate stuff that has to happen to stay in school and stay everything in good condition. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Franks. Any questions?
I do have one.
Yes.
When you do your setback and setup on your HVAC, whether it's for this area, the gymnasium, what brought this to my attention was the other day when there was the volleyball game in the gym and it was 115 degrees hot. How many degrees do you do your setup or setback for the time?
The setback, depending on, it just turns the system off, but it has an 85 degree built in by the manufacturer maximum. At 85 degrees, it would maintain it then at 85. And I do again apologize about that particular time. We did not have updated schedules for the volleyball game, but it's, what I do is in the morning, look at the schedule at my desk, program the occupancy, and I do that with the elementary and the cafeteria and the gym, so it's not a big deal as long as I'm on top of it. And the drift up to 85, that was happening when it was 90 plus outside. And
Because
it's
that's
normal.
over 400,000 cubic feet. I mean, that's
Right.
a lot of, that's 1 degree drop in every half hour
Right,
of temperature.
it's a lot,
Yeah.
it's a lot. But we'll keep a little closer handle on that. Thank you for,
Yeah. No, you did a good job.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Franks. Human Resources, Mr. Sobel.
Thank you, Mr. Menhart. Motion to approve the 2024-2025 professional personnel list as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the substitute list addendum as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with CAEA as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Shute?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Menhardt?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Motion to approve the Bible Release Program through CBM Ministries for 2024-2025 as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Motion to approve the agreement with Southwood Hospital for the 2024-2025 as presented.
Do we have a second? Nope, I'm sorry, roll call. Any questions? Roll call. Oh, okay.
Second.
Need a second. Got ahead of myself. Roll call.
All right. Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Shute?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Mr. Menhardt?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Motion to approve the 2024-2025 agreement with Greene County Human Services as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Shute?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mr. Menhardt?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Motion to offer the middle school student council position to Megan Patton with salary and terms per the professional contract effective for 2024-2025 school year.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Shute?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. Menhardt?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Motion to approve Angela Iams as the co-sponsor of the Senior High Student Council with salary split with Jamie Wilson as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Shute?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
And Mr. Menhardt?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Motion to approve Brittany Bell to attend the Teacher of the Year Conference Ceremony in Hershey, PA from December 9th through December 10th, 2024.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to accept the resignation letter dated August 28th of 2024 of Tammy DiPolito with the effective date of September 30th, 2024 as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have to have a motion table.
Yeah. Motion to table the business manager, board secretary position to Friday? Is that, are we filling that in?
Date?
Later date.
Okay.
Okay, to a later date.
I'll
We'll leave it there. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Second? Any questions? Roll call. Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to offer the high school guidance counselor position to Jenna Penapinto, I knew I'd get it all, with the salary set as step one and the terms per the professional contract effective of 2024-2025 school year.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? I'm sorry, roll call, please. Jeez.
Mrs. Shute?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mr. Menhardt?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Some informational items, notification of tenure status granted to Caitlin Fox following 3 years of satisfactory service. No action is necessary at this point. The superintendent's evaluation has been completed by the Carmichaels Area School District Board of Directors and will be posted according to the Pennsylvania Department of Education. No action necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Soap. Budget and Finance, Mr. May.
Okay, the single audit report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. Normally, we would have had that information a lot sooner than this, probably November of 2023. But we just received it, and so I'm going to make a motion to accept the single audit report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023, as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoup?
Yes.
Mr. Menhardt?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you, Mr. May. Activities and Athletics, Mr. Pratt.
Assistant coaches cross-country. Motion to approve Rob Schiffmeyer and Joe Popolarchek as assistant coaches for the cross-country team funded by the cross-country boosters effective 2024-25 season.
Second.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Field trips. Motion to approve the request for field trip items A through G below as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Yes. Letter E. Duda's Farm Pumpkin Hayride for $1,600.
Yeah, that was something we budgeted into the budget, the middle school budget. They went last year. It's tied into the state standards for agriculture and history, all the 7th grade goes. Talk to the farmers about growing crops and things of that nature. And
It just seems like a lot of money to visit a pumpkin patch. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. We have a second and question. Any other questions? All in favor? You have a question? or-
Wait a second.
Okay, okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No, yeah.
Okay. Motion carries. 9-1, 8-1. Okay, thank you, Mr. Pratt. Transportation, Building, and Grounds, Mr. Buckland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the request for facilities, items A through J below as presented.
We have a second. Second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Buckland.
Thank you.
Technology, Curriculum, and Instruction. Mrs. Kroll, anything to report?
Nothing official, but I think Mrs. Sacco touched on the things that are going on in our committee. Walk to Read got rolled out, and the teachers, the way the program works, they had to test all of their students in the first week, 2 weeks of school, which is a really, really big task to ask them to do when they're getting used to new students. So they worked really hard, got it done really quickly, and it seems like it's rolled out smoother than I thought it would, with a new principal who wasn't even in on the implementation process. So I'm proud of our teachers for doing it and not complaining and doing it efficiently. So I want to thank them publicly.
Will that process be easier next year, being that you're only going to be testing maybe, will you know where the first grader is at the end of the year, that you don't have to test it? So you will be testing less kids technically,
That's a question for her.
I think that we use some of last quarter scores to help, but it's a fluid
We
process.
do, but I'd like to see where we are at the end of the year, because we always hit that summer slide with students with reading. So looking at a few other measures with our data, like we looked at our STAR data as well, we will probably be testing it with number of students, maybe not the same amount, but it's not going to be a real small number either because we're, again.
It's not just going to be the new students, you're going to be testing
Right.
everybody in that
Correct.
grade. Okay,
But the
fair enough.
teachers will be maybe more used to the process to make it go smoother, I would hope.
But I would think.
And the third grade got on board with the same curriculum as the K1, 2, and they got their materials late, and they are implementing it. So that was a lot to ask of them too, so I'm thankful to them that they just started off strong. Also, the grant that, or the wellness room that Mrs. Sacco was talking about, we got a $10,000 grant from TC Energy for that, so I wanted to recognize that group because that is a big help in making that happen. That's all.
Thank you. Mrs. Kroll. Business Manager Board Secretary report.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills for payment in the amount of $1,345,473.37.
Do we have that motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Buckton?
Yes.
Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Menhart?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0. I need a motion to approve the secretary, treasurer, and other financial reports as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Questions?
I just do want to say, I know we're looking at new business manager, and I know with our consultants, we're looking at reports to try to get you. I know Mr. Buckton requested some. We're getting, got a lot of information, not all of it yet. So we're still working on a lot of that. But, you know, with that, we are going to start looking at reports and give you some samples to see what you want as far as the monthly board reports. And we'll try to tailor those to your wants and needs. So just letting you know that process is already being discussed. And like I said, we'll fine tune a little more once we get someone in the position.
We're just, all we're missing is the GL and
I did talk to,
the credit cards.
yeah, I did talk to her about that.
That's
So
basically it, monthly
we're, that's the plan, is the rest of the week to work on that and get that stuff to you by the end of the week.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Trebek.
Mr. Buckton?
Yeah, roll call.
Yeah. Mr. Buckton? I'm
Good to
sorry.
ask your questions.
Yes. Dr. Kraus?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroll?
Yes.
Mr. May?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Shu?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Sokol?
Yes.
Mr. Menhart?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
No. Thank you, Mrs. Trebek. Other reports, federal programs. Mr. Moorcraft.
So just want to announce, and I talked a little bit to Mrs. Sacco about that, but she will be the new federal programs coordinator. So we'll work on that with her a little more and get her some training with it. The good news is the grant has been written for this year, so it's just a matter of having some meetings and things like that. So we'll work with her. I've done it in the past, so I have some experience with it. So we'll work with her and work with Value to get the training that she needs for that program. So congratulations, I think Mrs. Sacco. But I'm sure she'll do a wonderful job at it.
Okay. Complete your report?
Yes.
Legislative report, Mrs. Shu.
Nothing to report at this time.
Public relations, Mr. Menhart. Yes, I'd like to say that the board, we had a meeting earlier this week, and they brought forth the idea of me presenting to the public what's going on from our perspective, and we will continue to do that on a monthly basis. And also, they felt it was necessary for us to respond to people who come and ask questions. So we will go with our solicitor, we will come up with a policy, and that takes it takes 2 months for a policy to pass, and we will proceed in that direction. So thank you to the board. Anyone else? Okay, comprehensive plan representative, Mr. Moorcraft.
Nothing to offer.
Mr. May, go ahead.
My meeting's tomorrow night. You
Oh,
you have your
perfect.
meeting first. Nothing to report.
Safety and security.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Mr. Pratt. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Can I ask a question about safety and security real quick?
Sure.
So we have obviously turnaround employees, the swipe cards, the master key cards. With the environment and society today, the way things are crazy, are we retrieving these items from people who are let go or quit or whatever reason that somebody leaves this area? Or do they still have them and are they active?
So I know Mr. Franks with the keys, we're collecting the
address
keys.
some of that.
The cards can be deactivated. Mr. Frank says that door to door. And then we have the Verkada system as an app on the phone. And Travis, as soon as someone leaves, we can deactivate their access as far as.
I just want to make sure we're keeping up with it, because honestly, that kind of stuff scares me.
Everybody that's left will be deactivated. We usually send.
I'm more worried about the master keys that everybody seems to have
Get
here
them and turn them
than
in, so.
just the swipe cards. They're easy, the fobs.
All the swipe cards were deactivated.
I mean, because safeties are only as good as the people that monitor them, so. And that's pretty much it.
Now, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Please, we need a roll call. Okay, thanks, guys. Thank you for coming.